Die Hard is a Christmas movie. The debate has gone on for a very long time. And why not? What makes a Christmas movie? Is it that it takes place at Christmas? Is it that it's something that gives you some sort of joy to watch during Christmas? The latter is probably very close to the truth. And that is why, friends, we are going to talk about a few of the movies that are not officially Christmas movies that I think are worth watching every year. Now remember that all film is subjective and you may not watch the same things I watch. But let's give it a shot. So first up, of course, is Die Hard. Yes, I watch Die Hard every year during Christmas. Do I believe that Die Hard is a Christmas movie? Well, Die Hard is a Christmas movie in that it does have a lot of Christmas songs in it. And the movie takes place very much around Christmas. It's no wonder that people think of it as a Christmas movie. Now then, there are some Christmas movies that you can see that really stretch the boundaries of what is a Christmas movie. I hear a lot of people saying You Got Mail is a Christmas movie because it takes place during Christmas. You can make that argument, and sure you can. But should you? I feel that what makes a Christmas movie is that a majority of the movie itself does focus around the holiday. Or at least gives you those vibes throughout. Okay, so what are some of the other ones that I watch every year? Well, this little gem right here I watch every year. It's called The Long Kiss Goodnight, and it's got Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson. It is an outrageously action-packed film and so much fun. Very underrated film in my opinion. It's one of those films that should have done a lot better, that could have done a lot better, but it was overshadowed in the box office probably by other movies and really didn't catch on in a lot of the ways it should. It has made an impact in society, though, that you may not be aware of. There's a rapper named Charlie Baltimore. She actually took her name from this movie. Gina Davis's school teacher is an amnesiac spy. She's forced out of retirement when people start trying to kill her. They recognize her and they start trying to kill her. Samuel L. Jackson is the private eye that she hires to try to find out who she is and what her story really is. Well, they get thrown in together in this absolutely outrageous adventure, and she finds out that he's started to figure out who she is. Only as he's starting to figure it out, she's figuring it out. And she is Charlie Baltimore, a hired killer, basically. Just this weapon of mass destruction. And it's so super crazy. It's a fun movie, very underrated, highly recommend it. Now, then you have Batman Returns. And I know there's a lot of people who talk about Batman Returns possibly being a Christmas movie. I end up watching it around Christmas time because it's usually on. And here's the thing. Do I consider it to be a Christmas movie? I don't consider it not to be. It has a lot of Christmas time elements. It focuses around Christmas time. So yes, you can consider it a Christmas movie. The movie Last Holiday with Queen Latifah is one that I hear people talk about not really being a Christmas movie, that it only takes place during Christmas. I actually love this movie. And to me, it feels very much like a Christmas movie. She's gonna spend one last holiday alive, is what she thinks. So she goes on this vacation for the holiday, and that in itself very much makes it feel Christmassy. Regardless of whether the movie intends to be a Christmas movie or not, it takes place during the holidays, and it's got that vibe. So I see it as a Christmas movie, and I watch it every year. I hear a lot of people talk about some movies and say that they don't believe that they are Christmas movies, or that they can't see why other people think they are. Like Trading Places is another one I watch every year. Trading Places to me is definitely a Christmas movie. You have Jamie Lee Curtis and Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd in a movie that you really can't do today. Like, the movie's so politically uncracked that it's just, you're sitting there watching it and you're instantaneously just going, oh no, no, they didn't do that. And it's super, super funny. It goes to show you that comedy doesn't have to be politically correct. And if you can watch that movie and the movie offends you, then it's probably done its job. Because the movie is meant to be a statement on racism and society and all this other stuff. And it does its job amazingly. And at the same time, it's kind of this Christmas carol of sorts. And, then the Prince and the Pauper type of story mixed in with that. So it's got all these elements that you can see blended together, and is one of the movies that I watch every year. And I never get sick of it. Another one that I watch every year that I absolutely love is The Ref with Dennis Leary. It's another one of those that doesn't have to be very politically correct. And in fact, it is an insane movie. This guy takes this family hostage on Christmas Eve. So right there, it's Christmas Eve in the movie, so why isn't it a Christmas movie? It is a Christmas movie. Just it's not your traditional Christmas movie, and that's what this video is about. You can decide what you watch every Christmas. If it takes place during Christmas, it's probably a Christmas movie, and there's not a reason for it not to be. This movie is one of those that absolutely has me dying laughing every time I see it. And it just doesn't get old. Dennis Leary is hilarious in this movie, and the entire cast does an amazing job. Gremlins is another one. Gremlins is absolutely a Christmas movie. You make all the arguments about Gremlins not being a Christmas movie that you want, but the movie is literally about him getting his son a Christmas present. And that is really just the way it is in that movie. I don't see any way that that's not a Christmas movie, and I watch it every year intentionally. It's the only time I watch it is during Christmas. And I love that movie with a passion. If you don't know what Gremlins is, or you've somehow never seen it, you need to check that movie out. It's still a classic, and it's a classic for a reason. And it's got that feel-good 80s vibe. You just can't do that stuff anymore. I feel like a lot of the joy of the 80s movies is just in the fact that you really can't do them. You take an 80s movie and you go, can I do that now? And the fun fact is, most of them you really can't. You can't duplicate that. Gremlins is fantastic for the simple fact that it's an 80s movie and it got away with a lot. In fact, Gremlins was one of the very first PG-13 movies of all time. The first being Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which the rating system was officially made for. Gremlins pushed even that boundary with the whole gremlin in the microwave and all that. You have to watch this movie if you've never seen it, and you definitely should be watching it every Christmas. And then we have to talk about Reindeer Games with Ben Affleck and, Gary Sinise is in that movie. And then Charlize Theron. And the movie is just... Reindeer Games is literally in the title. The movie's not the greatest movie, but it's also not that bad. And the movie has a certain charm. And I strongly believe that it does its job in terms of, yes, you can watch it anytime. You really can sit down and watch the movie anytime. But it takes place, a big portion of the movie takes place during Christmas. It was literally, like I said, it's literally called Reindeer Games. I think that was the intention. So I find myself oftentimes watching it. It's usually on around Christmas time, and once or twice it hasn't been, and I've gone looking for it. And the reason I'm looking for it is because Ben Affleck is rather charming in this movie. And Charlize Theron always does a wonderful job. And then Gary Sinise. Can you ever go wrong with Gary Sinise? I mean, he was Captain Dan, and you can't go wrong with him at all. The movie is definitely one that I would recommend you watch. If you haven't ever seen it, definitely watch it. And definitely consider making it part of your Christmas time movies. See, sometimes watching that untraditional Christmas movie is just as much fun as watching the ones that they intend for you to watch. I'm going to leave you with one more movie. And this one more movie is sort of a comedy movie, and it's National Lampoon's Dorm Days. It's a super crazy movie about this group of students who stay in for the Christmas holidays. They don't get to go home. And the antics that happen in it all revolve around Christmas, although a lot of people still say that this isn't necessarily a Christmas movie. I very much feel it is, and I definitely watch it during Christmas. They have a sequel, but the sequel isn't as good. The sequel isn't really Christmassy at all either. But here's the thing, this movie is not the best of the best. Still watch Christmas Vacation over this movie anytime. And watch any number of movies over this one anytime. But if you're looking for something new and funny to watch this Christmas that you've probably never seen, the National Lampoon's Dorm Days is definitely one you can do. Now, if you haven't seen any of the movies that I put on this list today, or you haven't seen them and thought about them as Christmas movies, then definitely make sure you are. Definitely make sure that you check them out this year during Christmas. You have a few more days till Christmas, so go ahead and do that. Alright, so if you can't see the little sign behind me here, right over Miko's head, it says like, because we want you to like our content. It helps. YouTube says it helps. And then also, make sure you're leaving a comment down in the comment box below. Tell us what movies you watch that are untraditional Christmas movies every year. Because we definitely want to hear from you. And YouTube likes that too. Then, go ahead and hit that share button. Share this great content with all of your friends because they deserve to have a little fun too. And last, hit that subscribe button because Miko says we need more subscribers. And I tend to agree with him. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you know when we do our next video. At the end of the day, friends, remember that the world is rough and it's Christmas time. So go ahead and make sure that you're being safe out there. And at the end of the day, fandom is family.